And that Jacob had obeyed his father and his mother and gone to Paddan Aram.
So when Esau saw that the Canaanite women did not please Isaac his father,
Esau went to Ishmael and took as his wife, besides the wives he had, Mahalath, the daughter of Ishmael, Abraham's son, the sister of Nebaioth.
Jacob left Beersheba and went toward Haran.
And he came to a certain place and stayed there that night because the sun had set. Taking one of the stones of the place, he put it under his head and lay down in that place to sleep.
And he dreamed, and behold, there was a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven, and behold, the angel of God was ascending and descending on it.
And behold, the Lord stood above it and said, I am the Lord, the God of Abraham, your father, and the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie I will give to you and to your offspring.
Your offspring shall be like the dust of the earth, and you shall spread abroad to the west, and to the east, and to the north, and to the south. And in you and your offspring shall all families of the earth be blessed.
Behold, I am with you and will keep you wherever you go, and will bring you back to this land. For I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. And he was afraid and said, How awesome is this place! This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. He called the name of that place Bethel, but the name of the city was Luz at the first.
Then Jacob made a vow, saying, If God would be with me, and would keep me in this way that I go, and would give me like bread to eat, and clothing to wear,
So that I come again to my father's house in peace, then the Lord shall be my God.
and this stone which I have set up for a pillar of treading God's house, behold, then you give me, and will give to you.
Okay, great. We'll have that message now by Augustine.
Good evening. Sorry for just a little interruption. Okay, sorry. Pardon? Yes. Thank you. Okay. Good to see you, Sam. Is it your first time to here on Wednesday? Oh, several times. Oh, third time. Okay. Okay. Good to see you guys. Okay. Okay. Hello. Okay. Let's start it. Okay. The title of my message is How Awesome is This Place? And then key verse. Hold on, I cannot see on my screen.
Was it here before?
No.
Oh. Do you know why the window's like this?
It looks like so weird. This one.
This is like out of date.
Let me bring it back. Let me look this. Bigger. Or this is good.
Hello, hello. Okay. So hello again. Okay. Okay, good. How awesome is this place? This place is very awesome, okay? So let's say together. Let's go. How awesome is this place? The Bible passage is Genesis chapter 28, verse 1 through 22. Key verse 17. Let's read it together. Let's go. And he was afraid and said, How awesome is this place! This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. Okay, what do you see? Yeah, nothing. Do you think it's my mistake to put just black? No. No. Just black. So if we turn off the light, we have all the black. Right? And please close your eyes. That is the same thing, right? If we close the eyes, we cannot see anything. But if we open our eyes, we could see that. So this is the black, but if we open our eyes, let's see what we'll see. Wow, isn't that beautiful? Wow, very beautiful. So we wanna see this beautiful, like beach side. But if we are blind, or if there is no light, complete darkness, we cannot see this moment. So in this passage, we will see the Mr. Jacob's eye-opening moment. Before, he didn't see, he did not know. But after with consulting with God, he could see that. So he said that, how awesome is this place, when he opened his eyes. So basically chapter 28 has 3 parts, verse 1 through 5, and second part is 6 through 9, and third part is 10 through 22. I will focusing on verse 10 through 22. And then, first two parts, that's you guys' homework. So basically, the first part is that Jacob's daddy, Isaac, advised, Jacob not to get married to the Canaanite woman. That's stuff. And then, okay. There is a famous saying that to be or not to be, that is a question. Alex, have you heard about that? So what's the meaning? To be or not to be, that is the question. To be or not to be, that is the question. What does that mean? That is a famous, Hamlet. You know the Hamlet, right? That Hamlet said that, to be or not to be, that is a question. So basically, Hamlet said that how painful and miserable human life is. Thus, he think that death would be preferable. But he afraid of the uncertainty after death. That's why he had that question, to be or not to be, that is a question. That means what? To live or to die, that is a question. To die to him means that to commit suicide. So his actual question is that, should I commit suicide or should I just live in this painful moment? That is, life question. What about today's passage? We could have the same question, to die, to be or not to be, in Jacob's life. Let's dive into that moment. To be or not to be situation for Jacob. Verse 10 said that Jacob left Beersheba and went toward Haran. And then verse 11, he came to a certain place. Certain place, what's the location's name of that certain place? We call it Luz. Yeah, Luz, right? Luz. Okay. Okay. Why? Why is, why did he leave Beersheba and toward Haran? Andrew? Pardon?
I think it's because following his own desires.
Okay, that was the chapter 27. Then who could say that why he should leave Beersheba, his hometown, to the Haran? Pardon? Yes, that is true. In the previous passage, Esau tried to kill the Jacob. That's why he should leave. Let's. Do you have the Bible? Let's go to Genesis chapter 27, verse 36. I will read it for you. Esau said, "Is he not rightly named Jacob? For he has cheated me these two times. He took away my birthright, and behold, now he has taken away my blessings." Then he said, "Have you not reserved a blessing for me?" Isaac answered and said to Esau, "Behold, I have made him lord over you, and all his brothers I have given to him for servants. And with grain and wine I have sustained him. What then can I do for you, my son? And then Esau said that I will kill him. I will kill him. That's why he had to leave Beersheba. Basically, he became a fugitive. Basically, Beersheba to Haran. Do you know how many miles from Beersheba to Haran? Around the 500 miles. So basically, from San Diego to the San Francisco, and it would take around 25 days, between 25 days and 34 days. So, right, if we walk 20 miles a day, 500 divided by 25, we have 20 days. If we walk fast, but around 1 month. And in a certain place that is around 40 miles. So he just walked, go toward Haran around 2 days. That's the situation. The why? Why is it to be or not to be situation for Jacob? If you were Jacob, how would you feel? Hannah? Sad? Scared? And what else? Joshua? If you were the Jacob, how would you feel? Alex?
Yeah, scared is one of them. Anxious.
Okay, anxious, so tired. Okay. Hungry? Yeah, that is true. Really hungry, right? Okay, that's our guess. But what about his own word to describe his situation? One word for the Jacob situation, the loneliness, right? Basically, because he had to leave. Before that, he lived under the Rebecca, right? His mother, his father, but he had to live by himself, very lonely. What about uncertainty? His future was very uncertain. What about the darkness, very night? Coldness, very cold outside, right? And fear of death, basically. Lack, basically lack nothing, lack of anything. Food, clothing, shelter, everything. If you see the later part, he asked God, just give me clothing, water, food. He asked God basic stuff, that we could get easily, but that was lacking at that moment. Basically, he was crushed, fall at the bottom of his life, really. The Jacob's. What else? What else can you say? Missionary also said, hungry, yeah. What about his own word that he could describe? Genesis 35, verse 3, he said it. In the day of my distress. He described that situation, my distress. What's the definition of distress? Theo? Okay, very stressful. So definition of distress is extreme anxiety, and sorrow, and pain. So he himself described like this anxiety, sorrow and pain. Wow, he was total darkness, right? He was total darkness. And then with that darkness, what happened to him? In that dark moment of his life, what happened to him? Dark. Let there be light. Let there be light. Let there be words of God. Before he was total darkness and he couldn't see anything, but there is light. There is a words of God. Words of God came to Jacob's life. And then 2 Peter verse 3:19 asks us that we need to meditate on the words of God until the day dawns, the morning star rise in our heart. Let's 2 Peter 3:19. Let's read it together. Let's go. And we have prophetic word more fully confirmed, to which you will well pay attention as a lamp shining in a dark place, until the day dawns and the morning stars rise in your heart. Yes. We have a prophetic word, and we need to pay attention as it's a lamp shining to a dark place. And the day dawns and morning star rise. Then we could, in the darkness, we couldn't see anything. We don't know where we should go. But if we meditate on the words of God, then the words of God give us light. And we know what to do. Okay. Then let's see then what words did God tell to the Jacob as a light. I will go first 12 and you can read 13 responsibly. I will go first. And he dreamed, and behold, there was a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven, and behold, the angels of God were ascending and descending on it.
And behold, the Lord stood above me and said, I am the Lord, the God of Abraham, your father, the God of Isaac. The land on which you lie, I will give to you as your offspring.
Your offspring shall be like the dust of the earth, and you shall spread abroad to the west and to the east and to the north and to the south. And in you and your offspring shall all the families of the earth be blessed.
Behold, I am with you, and will keep you wherever you go, and will bring you back to this land, for I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised.
Okay. How many behold do you have in this passage? 4. Yeah. There are blue, line. There are 4 behold. Behold means what? Pay attention. Bible like author put behold, which means that we need to pay attention. So we need to pay attention about on this passage. So basically, what God said to Jacob is answer or solutions to his life problems. Let's go one by one. He felt loneliness, right? But what's the God's answer to him? God said, I will be with you. He had a insecurity. What's the God's answer? I will keep you wherever you go. He had uncertainty. What's God's answer to him? I will bring you back to this land. And then, he had a complex lifelong anxiety because of that. As a fugitive, was God's answer. I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. That is, big God's grace upon Jacob. So what God said to him was the light to Jacob's heart. That is light to the Jacob's dark heart. And I want to focusing on the last part. God said that I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. Do you see some awkward word? No? Yeah. So let's say if Sam, if you promise to the Robert, right? Then what would you say? I will do, right? I will do what I had promised you. That is, your doing should be a future tense. But what's this the complex lifelong anxiety? What God said to Jacob. God said, "I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you." Do you see my point? Okay, let's see other Bible passage. I called umbrella unlimited grace in Genesis chapter 25, 28, 15b. Do you know concept of umbrella? That means covers all. It covers all, not just in a specific one, but He covers all generally. ESV version, for I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised you. NIV, I will not leave you until I have done what I promised you. Same, the message. I will stick with you until I've done everything I promised you. Living Bible, I will be with you constantly until I've finished giving you all I have promising. So, all present perfect tense. So God's terminology is different from man's. In human language, we would say, I will do what I promised. But in God's terminology, I have done what I promised. Did you get it? I have done what I promised. So once God promised, it's already done deal. It's finished. I have done what I promised. So God's promise to Jacob was already done deal. At the moment God promised to Jacob, that is God. What God said is present perfect tense. This is very important concept. So what God have promised is what God have done simultaneously. Upon receiving God's promise, and what's the Jacob's response? I will read 16 and you will read 17. I will go first. Then Jacob awoke from his sleep and said, surely the Lord is in this place, and I did not know it. 17, please. Yes, thank you. He said it. I didn't know it. I didn't know it. I didn't know it. And now he said that, how awesome is this place? This is none other than the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. So let's go for detail. before and after. Before, he might think that this place is what? Terrible and horrible place. And this is a wilderness and desert. And he might think that I'm entering the gate of hell. I'm entering the gate of hell. Because he left his hometown. Right? And then, by the way, do you know how old he was when he left Beersheba to Haran? Any try? 40? And what else? 70? Okay. What else? 50? 24. Okay, the very close answer is 70. 60. Because when Jacob met the Egypt king Pharaoh, his age was 130. If you read Genesis 47, he met the Pharaoh at 130. At that time, Joseph was 39 years old. So definitely you can divide it. We can deduct 130 to 39, that is 191, right? Then how many years passed until Jacob got Joseph? He spent 7 years for Leah and 7 years for Rachel. Joseph is the first son from Rachel, so he spent at least 14 years. So we can minus 14. So which number did you get? 19 minus 14, we have a 76, 77. So he's very old age. He's very old age. Also, he didn't get married yet. So we have all the so young men, so waiting for the marriage, but be comforted. He's a single, and then he didn't have anything. Very old guy. He should leave Beersheba to the Haran at the age of 77, 76, walking 500 miles, take 25 or 34 days, and now he just took a trip 2 days, and in a certain place, he didn't have any place to sleep. So actually, the culture of the Jewish society at the time, you can just knock the door and can I sleep? Then they will welcome you. But he didn't choose it. Why? Because 27, Genesis chapter 27, Esau will trace him, and then he said that once my father die, I will kill you, definitely, because Jacob cheated him 2 times. Because of that, he should leave. So if he sleep somebody's house, then what about the Esau chase him and then take a moment and kill? That was situation. So filled with anxiety, terrible situation, lonely, and he did not know. Also, Jacob is not very good at hunting. Like Jacob, kind of like a mama boy, although he's 76 or 77 years old. He did not know how to stay. Possibly Esau know, right, how to stay at night at the field, because he was very good at hunting. So hunting is his day-to-day life. He's very good at camping or hunting, but Jacob's no. Just mama boy or homestay guy. He did not know. Also, he couldn't protect himself from other gang members or some people, right? not good at fighting, very afraid of people. So he would feel very terrible. Oh, I'm entering the gate of hell. Oh my God. Right? But God appeared to him. He didn't ask God, but God appeared him in a dream and gave him the promise. Okay, the promise said that I will be with you. I will keep you wherever you go. I will bring you back to land, and then I will not leave you until I have done what I have promised. So that's what God said. What God promised is different from humans, terms. Human may say that we promise you, but we couldn't keep, right? But God is different. I have done what I promised. All Bible verses said a present perfect tense. And then his eyes are open. When he listened to the words of God, his eyes are open. And how could see that place, the gate of hell, as what? He said that what? How awesome is this place? He said that, wow, this is house of God. And he even mentioned that this place is what? The gate of heaven. Actually, the circumstances or environment didn't change at all. But what made him change? Right? He still have to go, right? Another 28 days to go. He was still hungry. He was still lonely. The circumstances, environment didn't change at all. But what made him change? Sam? Hmm? Yeah, God's light. The words of God. And in my tongue, can you see the yellow one? Environment, circumstance, situation didn't change at all. Yet his eyes were open. His eyes were open. Before he couldn't see anything. Just wilderness, loneliness. What a terrible situation he was. I'm in the gate of hell. But his eyes opened. And he received the words of God. And he could see different. So, to be or not to be, that is question. It's not anymore to Jacob. That is human terms. But in the spiritually, we should say, to see or not to see is the question. Once again, to see or not to see, that is a question. You got the point? And then, what's his response to God? I will go 20, and you go 21. Then Jacob made a vow saying, if God will be with me and will keep me in this way that I go, and will give me a bread to eat or clothing to wear,
so that I come again to my Father's house in peace, and the Lord will surely be my God.
And this stone which I have set up for a pillar shall be God's house. And of all that you give me, I will give you a full tenth to you. So, three things. The Lord shall be my God. So before Jacob did not know God personally. Until 77 years old, he was protected by mom, Rebecca. Right? And Rebecca told him, Jacob, do this, do that, and then just Jacob obeyed. But he did not have any chance to have personal God. But when he hit the bottom of his life, humanly speaking, at the hell of the gate of hell, he now confessed that you shall be my God, personal God, not Rebekah's God, not Isaac's God, not Abraham's God. No, you will be my God, my personal God. And then he said that this stone shall be God's house, my church. And then lastly, he said that I will give you a full tenth in you, my commitment. So, do you see the whole flow? Whole flow. So he said, "My God, my church, my commitment." After receiving the words of God, after meeting God. So, okay, before this, this is before that. The place was gate of hell, well, humanly speaking, but he confessed that this is the gate of heaven. So, in our life, do you have the moment that you could say that, oh, I am in full of distress? Joshua? Do you have the moment in your life? You have that moment? Then what did you do at the moment? Pray. Wow, you're better than Jacob. Jacob did not know what to do. Right? Jacob did not know what to do, although he was really bottom of his life. He did not know. He had no idea asking God. That's why God had mercy on him, and God sent the light. And through this, he could say that you will be my God, personal God, and then my church, my commitment. So, the moment that we feel the bottom or distress is really not bad things at all. If we meet God personally. Do you think Jacob had a moment if we stay at the Rebekah's house, Isaac's house, with that personal conviction, personal confess to God? No. So we have a second chance, and then but they should think about that. My God, my church, my commitment, not parents. Really, we need to think about where is my God, where is my church, where is my commitment. We need to seriously think about. But God used that really seemingly bad moment, God turned into the blessing moment that Jacob said that this is a gate of heaven. And one more thing, if we read that God showed Jacob the sign, right? What kind of a sign God showed to Jacob? Madeline? The sign, the picture. Not just words, but the picture. God showed the picture in his dream. Stairs, ladder, right? God showed the ladder, and then angels descending, ascending, and the ladder is from the earth and to the top of heaven, right? That ladder, and Jacob saw it. And then let's think about that ladder for a while. Let's go to next one. John chapter 1, verse 49 through 51. So 49, Andrew, 50, Alex, 51, Joshua, would you read?
Nathanael answered him, Rabbi, you are the Son of God. You are the King of Israel.
Jesus answered him, because I said to you, I saw you under the fig tree. Do you believe? You will see greater things than these.
And he said to him, Truly, truly, I say to you, you will see heaven opened and the angels of God ascending and descending on the Son of Man.
Oh, yes. Do you see any difference? And Genesis chapter 28 and this in the passage? Joshua?
No,
Huh?
it's the same.
Same? Yes, looks like same. Except the angels of God ascending and descending on the ladder, yeah, on Genesis chapter 28, but in this passage, the Son of God. So, the Jesus is God's ladder, God's stairs. From the earth to the heaven. Wow. Do you see that? There's stairs. Sam, do you see that? No? Caleb, do you see that? Thank you. Really. We have stairs. Here, right now. Do you see these stairs, right? But we have stairs. Can't you see these stairs? From here to the kingdom of heaven. These stairs is Jesus Christ. John 14:6. I'm the way, truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. Jesus is our heavenly stairs. Really, really. Jesus is the gateway toward the kingdom of heaven. So, in conclusion, the points to consider, we can think at this point. First, bad things are not always bad if we meet God, Jesus, through them. We see the examples. Bad things always not bad if we meet God or through God. So the moment that we suffer, the moment we really painful, that is the moment that we meet God, my church, my commitment. Really, there are so many examples in this Bible. Also, second thing we can think about, God has done what God has promised, present perfect tense. It's already done deal. God promised what? Eternal life to those who believe. It's already done deal. You are Sam, you're already in the kingdom of heaven. Do you believe that? Yeah. If you accept God's promise by faith, it's done deal. You know, God clearly said, I will not leave you until I have done what I promised. And then, as you guys showed Jacob a letter, God promised to us that Jesus, our ladder, reaching to God, God's kingdom. Jesus is our way toward the kingdom of heaven. So the earth is linked with the heaven through Jesus. Do you see that? Jacob really experienced, a certain place called Luz. But what did he say? Wow, awesome! Wow, awesome! How awesome is this place? This is none other than house of God. This place is none other than house of God. Do you believe that? So the kingdom of heaven is not far away. Kingdom of heaven here, right at this moment. Just one condition, you have to see it. Your eyes should be open. Do you know why so many blind cases in the Bible? Because God wants them to open his eyes. Why? Andrew? Yeah. So Jesus also said that you must be born again. Right? What do you mean being born again? Okay, let's say first birth. Joshua, when you were in the mother's womb, your eyes are open? No, your eyes are closed. But you hear the sound outside of your mother's belly. You hear it. That's why you kicked your, some mother's belly. But when you're born, at first time, your physical eyes are open. You hear it, but you didn't see it. But when you're born, at first time, you saw it. Right? What about second birth? You must be born again, which means what? Not just going into mother's womb again. No. Being born again means what? You are entering spiritual world, and then your eyes are open to the spiritual world. That is being born again. Your eyes are open. Our eyes should be open, really. So, we come to church just with our, to meet my God, my church, my commitment. And then God may lead you guys very tough moment in your life, but that moment is where you can meet God. The moment your eyes can open. So we need to encounter God as my God, not parents' God, or friends' God. Also, the place we'll meet God is God's church. We can meet God in everywhere. So my commitment for God will be followed after meeting my God and my church. Okay, I think that's all. So it's almost 8:15. So let me pray and then finish the Bible study. Most gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for today's passage. Help us to open our eyes and help us to see your kingdom, and help us to come to Jesus, our stair toward the kingdom of heaven. Lord, when we faced difficulties and hardships, painful moment, help us to pray to God, and so that we can meet personally, God, so that we can call as God, and my church, and we can follow my commitment to God. In the name of Jesus, I pray. Amen.